All right, welcome. So I know that I send out the invites and I sent a reminder to everybody, and then it rained, and I was just like, well, this could be a light crowd this morning. So I know that it's a sacrifice to pack up, to go through the sideways rain and the 30 degree drop to be here, but I'm very happy that you are. Thank you for taking the time out of your day just to spend just an hour with us and just let us just talk about our school and, just the good things going on here, the assessments that we've made, and kind of where we're heading. And then I really look forward to that time where we just get to dialogue, whether it's greeting and just kind of hanging out for a few informally before we start, or at the end when you just get to ask pointed questions. So if this is your first time, I see some familiar faces, but if this is your first time at Parents and Pastries, that's just what it is. We push out updates to you, and then you just get to come with any of your concerns or questions, clarification for us, and we just want to just create and keep that ongoing dialogue alive and really build that partnership between school and home. So thank you for being here. If you don't know me, I'm Wes Knoyer. I am the principal here at Woodgate this year, and some very important folks over here. Ms. Kim Hawkins is our assistant principal for 5th grade this year, and the school would not run without Miss Melanie Aker over there, the most important person on campus. She is the mastermind behind it all. She's our school secretary, and she just makes it all happen. Principal secretary. She just makes it all happen. So this is just really her work, just by and large behind the scenes and whatnot. And if Chef Rudy comes out again, let's just let him know how much we appreciate, because all of this, the orange juice, the coffee, the pastries, that's all done in-house. So it's not like we're farming it out to a business or anything. That is happening here with our own staff, and they just do a phenomenal job. So. Yeah. So we are experimenting with ways to make these meetings right here accessible to people that cannot be here. So we're recording in the back, and we're just experimenting with what's going to make it the most available to them and whatnot. So I just wanted to let you guys know we're working that out. Folks that are watching online, eventually, feel free to contact us, email us with any questions, especially during the Q&A session. So I just want to let you guys know. We're going to start this morning off with something that we like to do around here, and that is, that didn't work out the way. We really like to proactively engage with our students and just try to build. This year, we're really focusing on building character traits. We call it social emotional learning, because we want our kids not just to excel academically, but also emotionally and behaviorally, etc. So one of the ways that we just really go above and beyond is just recognizing kids for the positive behavior that they exhibit on a daily basis. So Ms. Hawkins, you want to start us off?
Sure.
All right. Here you go.
Thank y'all for coming today so much. This is my favorite thing to do as a principal. My office is open all the time. The majority of kids that are in there are for either coming to say hi or working out an issue. But my favorite thing is getting yellow positive office referrals from teachers. And so for this Parents and Pastries, I wanted to do something special for them. And so I know some parents are sitting out there. My 5th graders had no idea this was taking place. So we just took them out of class, and to go to the office for these good kids is a big deal. They're like, what's happening? And so, Michaela, if you'll come on up. This is Michaela Walker. And Michaela Walker, when I asked her color block of teachers, one kid, and they teach probably almost 100 kids. Michaela's name instantly came up. And so she was voted on by all of her teachers, Miss Christian, Miss West, Miss McConnell, Miss Heffington, and Coach Rogers. All put in a nomination for her. And she said that she's respectful, she's kind, and she's polite. And one of her teachers even quoted, Michaela is always very respectful and hardworking. She is continually positive and always replies with a yes ma'am or no ma'am. And then I wanted to put my comment in as well, Michaela, because you're awesome. It says, Michaela, thank you for being a role model at Woodgate. You have a gift to make everyone smile. Michaela, we are so lucky you were at Woodgate, and so we love you for that. We're so happy that you're here. So she is an awesome student, and we love when we get to do this kind of thing, and we do it in the office and make a really big deal, and that's when we call home. And so, Michaela, awesome job. Michaela, are your mom and dad here? And so you're more than welcome to come up and take a picture if you want. It's one of those times. But Michaela, awesome job. I'm so glad that mom got to be here. So surprise! And this is for you. She's getting her office referral. She's also getting a respect band so that she can have extra recess during the week. And she's getting a Cane's gift certificate. So good things happen to good kids. Okay, good job. Okay, my next person is going to be Jason. If you'll come on up, Jason. Jason is a wonderful Woodgate 5th grade student. And I will say, Jason, I think, comes to every teacher every day and says good morning with a hug or something. So he is making everyone feel special every single day, and that's just for me personally. So we love him being here. But his teachers, Miss Hessner, Mr. Miss Inslee, Coach Rogers, Miss Kubos, and Mr. Perdon. So he has many teachers that put in for Jason to be our special student. And they said that he shows wonderful respect, kindness, polite, positive, and he's a leader at our school. And one of his teachers commented, Jason is so polite to all of his teachers and it's a joy to have in class. This respect shows others and is warmly received. Jason's smile and kind words mean so much. He is a very special young man. And I had another comment on the back. Jason is a very positive peer to his classmates. He always helps others in need and strives to give his best. He is a natural leader. And then from my comment, I just put, Jason, thank you for spreading kindness around Woodgate. You've been a friend to everyone and a joy to have around. We are so lucky to have you at Woodgate. So, Jason, today, thank you so much for being an awesome student, and we so enjoy and appreciate all of your leadership skills. And your mom and dad are here? Do you want to go say hi? You can go sit back there if you want just for a second. Hey, Jason, this is for you. This is the important stuff.
Hey, carry this one. All right.
Also, we have Isaac. Isaac, will you come up, Isaac? Hi, Isaac. Isaac has a hurt arm, and it's signed by all of his friends, I'm sure, right? Okay, so Isaac gets a positive office referral from his teachers, Miss Teichelman, Miss Heffington, Miss Torres, Mr. Hawkins, Coach Rogers, and Miss Castillo. And they say you are the most respectful kid that they know. You're helpful, you're kind, and you're dedicated. Isaac shows respect to his teachers and classmates. He goes out of his way to help his friends and teachers. Isaac works hard in class. He is a gentleman and a scholar. So that means you like to learn too, right? Awesome. Thank you for being that role model. Isaac, thank you for being a star student at Woodgate. You are compassionate to others and make our school a better place. We are so lucky to have you here at Woodgate. So thank you so much for being a positive role model. We appreciate you. Okay. Thank you. So proud of your mom down here. You can sit with them. Okay. That's all for you.
Good job, bud.
And our last, we have 4 blocks in 5th grade, so I asked every block. And our last one, Pari, can come up real quick. I like that shirt. So Pari, you also got a lot of great compliments, so we appreciate you being here. Miss Tippy, Miss Stryker, Mr. Hawkins, Miss Hewlett, Miss Horn, and Miss Canham. It says Pari is always respectful. She takes care of her own business without having to be asked twice. Pari also is very willing to help others and is very sweet. And she is, as you can tell. Pari is has such a sweet spirit. She makes everyone feel welcome and always has a kind word to share. Pari follows directions to a T and is a model student. She is an absolute delight to have in class. So you have lots of good comments. And Pari, we are so lucky to have you at Woodgate. Thank you for being an awesome student and friend every day. Continue to scatter kindness. We all notice your influence at Woodgate. So thank you for being here. And your mom and dad are here today. We're so proud of you. This is all for you. And those are my 5th graders, but you can tell how important this part of my day is each day. And so the teachers really do a great job of calling out what kids are doing great in class, and especially the kindness. This week, and you'll hear from our counselors as we respect. And so they've been talking a lot about respect. So the bracelets they're wearing right now will say respect, or the teacher will write that comment on there. And they get extra prizes for that because we love seeing kids do things, especially when they don't even think we're looking. And so we're noticing that all around the school, and these 4 kids exhibit that every day. So we appreciate them, and we appreciate you teaching those kinds of manners and at home. So thank you for doing that and for being here today.
And Mr. Miller is over our 6th grade, so he's going to recognize a couple kids. Apology. Okay.
Hey, so my 6th grade teachers are not quite as long-winded, shall we say, as the 5th grade. They have these wonderful comments, and everybody's commented. But we have, I have 2 here today, and we just had the thought to celebrate them here in front of their parents. But I had just the day before gone through about 12 of these that we had. And so 6th grade, they're really looking for kids that are doing something good or extraordinary, or, I caught you helping a friend kind of a thing, and then they'll give them a little positive office referral for that. And so that's kind of what we have here today. I've got 2 young men. First one is Jace. Jace, come on down. And my 6th graders are aware because we were talking yesterday. There you go. But Jace was helping a friend, so we had an injured student, and Jace volunteered to carry the students' books and take them from class to class. And much like 5th grade, Jace will get a gift certificate to Canes. They get the little positive office referral. And what we do in 6th grade is the kids have the option. They can put this yellow one on my wall of fame that's in my office that has a whole bunch of positive office referrals, or they can take it home and put it on their refrigerator, which is often the wall of fame at home, right? And then the 6th graders also get a little coupon here to go to the game room. So he and a friend get to go to the game room. I think he's going today at lunchtime to go to the game room. So let's give Jace a hand. Good job, Jace. And next up is Alberto. Come on down. Alberto, his teacher said that, he replaced a teacher's book. So a teacher lost a book, right? And Alberto took it upon himself to go on Amazon and buy her a new book. So that was really nice of him. So we congratulate him. He gets the same thing, a Canes gift card, and I think he gets to go, I think you're going Thursday, right, to the game room. He's going to go Thursday with a friend to the game room to celebrate that. So let's give him a hand.
All right.
There you go.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, this is... Hey, kiddos, you want to come up here real quick, and let's get a picture with your APs and your parents, and then we're going to proceed, okay? So let's grab a picture, and then we'll get you back to class because you guys have learning to do. Come on up here. Mr. Miller. Oh, he's getting a student. Parents, come on down. We'll get a picture with everybody, and then we'll send these guys back to class and take care of business here.
He's trying to get back to athletics.
He's ready to go back to athletics right there. You know you're focused on training when you want to get back to athletics. All right. So Miss Henderson is going to be taking a picture. All right. All right, let's give them one more round of applause. Good job, guys. The really cool thing about this is, we recognized about 6 kids this morning. There are so many around this campus that just go above and beyond. They're just a joy, an absolute joy to have. And, we'll do our due diligence about recognizing them and whatnot. And, the cool thing is you're not going to impact a whole school culture and, prompt behavior and stuff like that just by doing things like this. But it's really cool just to celebrate when kids do it naturally. And, that's just a testament to the work that you do at home and the support that they have and whatnot. So it's really a joy to recognize that. So I'm going to run over here. I just want to go over our agenda for today. We also have one more treat for you later on. Miss Abercrombie's class is actually going to come perform for you guys. They have like a 4-minute number to come and just really showcase kind of what they're going through in class. But just as a welcome, everyone signed in. We do that as a formality because we're a Title I school. We keep paperwork, documentation, and whatnot. So that's what that is about. But really, this is about engaging, all of our stakeholders. We have our tech department. Where's Miss Henderson? She was just taking pictures. Some folks still need, a little bit of tech support for Schoology and Home Access Center to access the grades and the correspondence to between teachers and students. So if you need help with Schoology or Home Access Center, our tech department will be willing to go above and beyond just to help you get all set up and logged in and all of those things. We have handouts and whatnot. They're also available. They'd be more than happy just to walk you through it over the phone and whatnot. So just know that is always available. I have some papers here. And from the very, very beginning of this year, I've been talking to staff members, talking to parents, and talking to students, with the question phrased differently from time to time. But really, at the end of the day, how do we take Woodgate from being very good to great, right? How do we take it from just to the next level of effectiveness? So it's just a refinement piece at this. So we've engaged in multiple conversations where we really just explore this idea of vision, like what do we want to become, right? What does that ideal kind of utopian school look like? And how do we bring that kind of into existence in the future, if that makes sense? And so we've been engaging. I remember last month I had a QR code up there that you snapped and you provided feedback. So I'm going to pass some of this out. This is a compilation of that data that we've collected, of the trends coming from students, parents, and also staff. I want us to look at that for a second. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to briefly prioritize. If we changed one thing to take this place from being awesome to even better, what would that be? Okay? I also want to provide you a little student feedback that I got yesterday, something that we're going to be working on. So I'm going to pass this out. I just want you to start looking at this. So as you're reading this, just know that I asked our staff before school even started, from a parent perspective, what do you think would make this place just phenomenal? They collaborated around their tables, and thank you. They collaborated around their tables and came up with some characteristics of the perfect school, right? And we explored that from a parent perspective. What would make a school like the perfect place to be? And then we explored that same concept, but putting ourselves in the shoes of a student. What would make a school the perfect place for a student to go? What would some characteristics of that be? And then I asked them the question from a staff member perspective. What would make this the best place in the world to work, the best school? So that is what you're going to see kind of at the first page and a half. Okay? And then at the bottom of the second page is some of your responses from last month. I know I sent out just that brief questionnaire to you via the Woodgate Weekly email correspondence that I send out, the newsletter. And then I engaged with students. So we have the principal's cabinet, which is refreshed each semester, and they're selected to represent a cross-section of our student body. So we have a group of students who should represent our student body well. So high performers, lower performers. It's not just all like the honors type kids. We did a cross section because I want a true representation of our student body. And then we started asking questions what's really good about Woodgate and what could we make better? So underneath, on the second page, where it says students, these are some of their realities. So I had our second our second principals cabinet meeting yesterday with our kids during win time, our principals cabinet. And I really took their list of positives and negatives, and I said, you guys were always looking to improve, right? I said, what does it take for a yard to, you could tell we have 5th and 6th graders back there transitioning from classes, right? It's awesome. All it takes is, for your yard to look like a mess, what does it take? And they're like, it takes nothing, If you don't mow it, it's just a matter of time before it gets overgrown and starts looking bad. Said, you get a brand new car. Does that brand new car, does it get better over time or worse? Oh, it gets worse, Mr. Kindler. That's right. If you do a home renovation, does it start looking nicer as time goes on? No, it doesn't. I said, that's exactly what improvement looks like, I told them. If we just stay still and do nothing and just celebrate the things that we have done and just kind of look at the trophies and look at the great things that we have done and do nothing to make things better in the future, then it just starts to decay. That's just the natural way of things. So I had this conversation with them. So I had this conversation around improvement. So let's work to always improve is the idea, right? So I said, if we were going to do one thing this year, if we were going to do one thing to improve our school, if we had to boil this list down to only one thing, if you could snap your fingers and change it tomorrow, what would it be? Okay? So it was very insightful. Very insightful. And this is just a current reality, good, bad, indifferent. This is what they said. So when the tally numbers came in, the single thing that they would want to change, the snap of their fingers starting tomorrow, would be this. Look on the second page. Students cursing. Okay? So my cross-section of students would want to change that reality. So it's kind of complex, right? Like it's telling, because it hurts a little, right? Like, oh my gosh, our 10, 11, and 12-year-olds, they're cussing. And it's probably not breaking news, because it's, okay, they do that. But that is the one thing that we will be now focusing on. How do you get kids to not say inappropriate things, right? So I do want to add some clarity. It's not necessarily that kids are saying bleepity bleep toward people. It's more like I drop my iPad sometimes. Oh, shoot, or whatever. So I'm just exploring as we look to improve continually. I just want to be real with you, okay? This is a reality here that our students have identified. So we as a staff will now be working to address that and wanting, definitely to partner with anyone who will help, that. So I would ask you to start this kind of reform, right, to where we get our kids saying more wholesome things, more positive things. I would ask that you start engaging with them, even if your child is not part of that problem, right? Engaging with them on how we can address this, right? The importance of saying positive things, what they could say if their friend is doing that, and those things. So that mentorship at home is going to be absolutely crucial. We are going to be doing our due diligence to address the issue here, and we can definitely work to enforce that when we hear it, but as well as we do, we don't like them to know this, but we're not everywhere at all times, right? So, but just know that is an area of improvement that we are going to be working on. I am happy to report that it's not safety, is the number one thing. I'm happy to report that there's not, a lot of fighting or anything like that it is cussing. But it's a hard, nuanced one to address if we were just going to be honest. So we're going to be working on that. I'd ask you to partner with us, okay? So Before we close this little segment out, what I'd like to do, I want you to look through that list if you need to one more time. I would like to identify from the parent perspective that same thing. If you could snap your fingers and change one thing for the better here at Woodgate, what would that be? I'd like you to circle that, and on your way out today, if you'll just put them in a pile right here up on this table, I want to compile that because I want to know what your priority as a parent. I want to know what that is, okay? So that will be interesting to identify the priority of our student body and then the priority of our parent population. So if you will do that for me, I would really appreciate that. Do we have any questions before we move on to the next segment? I just want to reiterate that I truly appreciate you being here, and I really look forward to, I know we're 7 weeks in, but partnering with you the rest of this journey. All right, so if you'll do that, that'd be great. You don't have to turn that in now, but if you will just make sure you turn it in on the way out, that'd be phenomenal. With a show of hands, how many of you guys saw Woodgate Intermediate on KWTX? A few of you? All right. So I'll try to play this clip if it works. It's just like a 2-minute something clip, but we were on KWTX.
You would not have to look far to see that kindness is spreading like wildfire. And in very obvious ways. The staff there has a mission this year of living by the hashtag, "It's cool to be kind." They're doing that in a number of different ways. Here's one. They've dressed up and invited the kids to dress up as well as "It's Smart to Be Kind Day." The kids absolutely loved that. One thing that they may have loved more was this. When they showed up to school, the teachers and staff had written a personal note of encouragement to every kid and left it on their lockers. Principal Wes Canalier said they wanted to focus on kindness this year in order to teach students about more in life than just what's found in a textbook.
But one of the ways that we showed that this week is simply by our teachers writing them a positive post-it, putting it on their locker, in textbooks, in iPads. It was wonderful. And it was revolutionary as far as building relationships. So one of the things that we realized around here is our students are more than a star score. They are more than a number to us. They are individuals, and we want to prepare them for success in life.
Taylor Anderson teaches 6th grade math there. She sat down with the students to ask them what the gesture meant to them.
How did it make you feel when you walked up to your locker and saw this sticky note that has a positive comment about you?
It made me feel really nice, and I know it made other people feel nice because, like, some people could have been having a bad morning, and it just made them feel a lot better.
That's awesome. Now, Lucy, why do you think it's important to spread kindness throughout our school?
I think there's a lot of bullies these days, so a lot of people might be mean to other kids. It's just, so if they see this sticky note and we all spread kindness, it'll make them feel better and it'll make us feel better.
There's a lot of good news in this story. For one, the kindness is catching on. Students are now writing notes of encouragement to one another. And here's some more good news. The It's Cool to Be Kind movement at Woodgate Intermediate is not stopping this week. They plan to carry the theme throughout the year and possibly beyond. Reporting for today's Tell Me Something Good, I'm Julie Hayes.
So, big shout out to Julie Hayes. She's one of our Midway ISD parents and also on KWTX. So that was really cool to have a whole segment almost showcasing what our awesome kids and staff are doing here at Woodgate. And that was just, one little initiative. After our next segment, you're going to get to meet one of the masterminds behind social emotional learning. part of what was featured there, and that is Miss Dania Meyer. She's back there. She is our one of our counselors, and she is just amazing and positive, and it is infectious. So, Miss Abercrombie, where you at? All right. So I promised you a treat here toward the end of the presentation. So this is Miss Kim Abercrombie. She is one of our phenomenal teachers that just go above and beyond, and she's going to talk to you about one of our student showcases.
Thank you. Nice introduction. Well, we are so excited. I'm super excited about this. Even better, the kids are more excited than I am to perform for you. This is, many of you may already know what performance art is, but if you don't, no worries, you're not alone. It's where you, it's a visual form of art that combines dramatic performance with it. So what they're going to do is they're inspired by Pablo Picasso, and they're going to create a collage. So I hope y'all enjoy it.
All right. job, guys. All right, let's give these guys a round of applause. Where are the pieces of art, anyway? They're back there. See, they're going to... You know, I'm so glad there's people like Mrs. Abercrombie in this world, because it would be so dull with people like me. You know, I would never think of a project like this. And to think of something so creative and inspired by Picasso, who's very eclectic, right? But include movement and collaboration and all of those things is just so phenomenal. So why don't you guys give a bow? Let's give them a round of applause. Wonderful job. Wonderful job, guys. Thank you so much. All right. You know, you go through these, I was just walking through classes this morning, wishing everyone a good morning before I did an announcement. I had these 2 tubs of water, you know, with like 16 different crawdads, crawfish, you know, and they're going to start collecting data, and they have the controls, and feed them differently and measure weight. All of these hands-on visual things that our kids are just engaging in, whether it's science or art, you know, or doing things in math. So it's such a cool thing to watch, you know, the light bulb come on and just engagement and whatnot. So wonderful. So I'm going to have Miss Meyer come up, and she is one of the masterminds behind this whole social emotional learning that we're doing, character building, and really driving home this week with respect. Yes. Cool.
Good morning, guys. Thank you for being here. I want to talk with you about a few things today. First, I want to talk with you about this week and this month's word, which is respect. And a lot of times we think of it as the golden rule. It's the rule that all the other rules can fall under, treat others the way you want to be treated. But at Woodgate this year with the SEL Character Strong curriculum, the definition is a little different, and it says seeing good in people and things and treating them with care. So I think we would all like to be treated with care. So this month we're doing lessons in our classrooms on Fridays, just like we did the 2 previous months. Students are also receiving yellow wristbands, and yellow because it's the golden rule. And if students receive these because they have been especially respectful, then they get extra privileges. Could be that they get an extra recess day at lunch, or yesterday, some of the kids got to go to our relaxation station when they finished their lunch, if they have the yellow wristband on. So a lot of kids are working hard to get those. I wanted to just make sure that each of you that goes home on Monday, so you're taking a look at our parent information. It has different ways that you can engage with your kid with that word of the month. It talks about conversation starters about respect, purposeful pursuits, unplug and plug in with your kids, talk about technology. So check these out. Mr. Denoyer includes these. We send them over to him, and he makes sure he includes these in our weekly newsletters to go home with you. Good stuff each month with that. Next thing I wanted to do was recap. Red Ribbon Week is coming up at the end of the month. It's the last full week of October. The Friday ends on November 1st. But with the Red Ribbon Week, we're going to have dress-up days each day, and we'll be sending home information about that in our newsletter as well. But more importantly, besides the dress-up days, it's the theme that says it all for each day. Like it's going to say, be a superhero, be drug-free. We are ready to be drug-free. One is join the fight against drugs. Of course, you're going to wear camo, you're going to wear superhero outfits, that kind of thing. Okay, so I wanted to touch base real quickly with you about Dr. Battle. How many of you knew that Dr. Sue Battle came and spoke with our students? Okay, it may have been the topic of conversation, which is at your house after the presentations. If it wasn't, you might ask your kids about it and see how they felt about it. Sue Battle wanted conversations to start from her conversation that she had with the kids. We had all the boys together one day, all the girls together another day. And I just wanted to touch real quickly on the top 5 things that she talked with her kids about. Number 1 is social media concerns. She just wanted to make sure our kids knew that what it was shocking to her how many of our kids have Instagram as 10 and 11-year-olds, and how many of our kids have Snapchat. And so she was just really cautioning them on making sure that their accounts are private and that they're not just accepting friendships from people they don't even know. And she said it could be that you see that this person is friends with 5 of your other friends, so yeah, I'm just going to be friends with them too. Because it was kind of funny listening to the kids like, yeah, you gotta see how many followers I have. It's not about, I mean, it's kind of like it's sad that they feel like that's kind of their worth, you know? It's like, I have more friends than you, I have more followers than you. And it's a safety concern because a lot of those followers may not be the person you think they are. So she was sharing with them that just because you're friends with them, you need to know that person that you are letting follow you. It could be, sadly, that it's a 35-year-old man that's acting like he's somebody like a 12-year-old, you know? Same thing with your video games and stuff, like the Call of Duty and the different ones that the kids play. You just have to be really careful. So she talked about social media concerns. She talked about the importance of posting information, that you don't share personal information. Don't share your address. Don't share where you're going. Don't share your phone number. Be very careful with that. And then just when you post things, make sure that you're posting things that are helpful and encouraging, because when you post stuff that's derogatory and negative, it's hurting others. If you post inappropriate things don't throw away. People screenshot them, even though you think that they're on Snapchat and it's going to be 30 seconds and gone. It's not. That police can actually go and find those things if necessary. So just make sure when kids are aware, make sure it's appropriate when you're posting things. She talked about that you're the boss of your body. And it was really cute how during the girls' presentations, when she said that, the girls were like, yes! It was cute. She talked about your swimsuit, parts of your body that your swimsuit covers up. Those are your private parts. And you are independent at this age, and nobody should be touching those parts unless you're at the doctor and you have a parent present and there's some kind of an issue. Other than that, nobody has permission to touch your body. No one should ask you to touch their body. And so kids that were kind of like, oh, a little uncomfortable with those conversations, but that's why we had the girls with the girls and the boys with the boys. Let's see what else she talked about. And then she talked about secrets versus surprises. She said, some people say this is a secret, keep it a secret. And a secret could be, we're going to have a surprise party for Dad, or we're going to buy such and such as a Christmas gift. A secret that can be kept is one that's temporary and that it's going to have an end date. But when and that kind of a secret is more like a surprise. But when there's a secret and they say, don't tell anyone, or don't tell anyone I'll hurt you, or don't tell anyone that this is going to happen with a negative consequence, and that's probably a secret you need to tell. You need to tell a trusted adult. And if your trusted adult doesn't believe you, then you need to tell another trusted adult. Just be specific about if someone were doing something to your child that was inappropriate. Then she talked a lot about important and just safe adults, that this is something you guys could help with. These are the safe adults that can pick you up after school or whatever in an emergency, and let them know who those people are, because it may be that someone tries to pick them up without permission. We are very careful about dismissing our kids and who they leave with, but it could be like at a ball game, somebody tries to pick them up, or some other place besides school. So you need to reiterate with them who are the safe adults that they could live with, leave a different sporting event or whatever with. So that was just a recap of everything she talked about. Really good stuff. Kids were very receptive. She did talk about body parts. That was the most uncomfortable thing, but she just said it's really important to know the names, the proper names of body parts, so that if something were to happen or you needed to talk to someone about those things, that you're able to describe and name that thing. And it's not just like whatever your nickname is for that body part. You're like, I don't even know what that is. So just be specific and know what those body parts are called. The final thing I wanted to talk briefly with you about is, besides Red Ribbon Week coming up, after that in November, we're going to be having a career day. And with our career day, we're going to solicit parents and faculty members and their spouses about presenting various jobs. And we want a wide range of jobs, whether they require a certificate program, or not even a certificate program, or a degree, a 4-year degree, or longer, all kinds of jobs we want to hear from you guys about. We're going to have that the week of November 18th. We haven't nailed the date down yet. We have to figure out when our Thanksgiving luncheon is. I'm going to get with our cafeteria manager about that. And so we'll be sending out an email asking you guys if you're interested in presenting, or maybe you even know somebody. Maybe it's a grandfather or an uncle that has really cool stuff that would want to kind of present. So that's it. So appreciate you guys coming. And if you ever have any questions or any needs, feel free to reach out to me or Ms. Ostrom, the other counselor.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I was talking to some folks before Dr. Battle came, and it's just like, man, it's really a bummer, right? Like that we even have to have these conversations with the kids at this age. But I would much rather err on the side of our kids being safe when they over the weekend, here, on the way home, and much rather err on the side of caution, and then them learning these things from us, from you, and whatnot, rather than a locker room somewhere, or baseball field, or somewhere else that's going to be inaccurate. So we're trying to do our due diligence to make sure that the kiddos are safe and well informed. I have one more thing just to mention to you before we open it up to Q&A and whatnot. But our PTA has a little branch of PTA called Panther Pride, and it's all about service. So if your child signed up for Panther Pride, their goal is to get 10 hours of community service. Even if they didn't sign up, we'd be more than happy to have you. What we're going to do is we're going to take this garden back here, and over the years it has been planted and cultivated and maintained and all of these things, and it's just such a resource and asset back there. But over the years it has become overgrown and lost some of its former glory, if you will. Okay, so we are going to have a service project. I believe it is November 2nd. Cece Lively is really spearheading that. She's one of our wonderful parents. She is spearheading Panther Pride. We're going to be out there, and we are going to just kind of trim back, cut back, haul away, and just get kind of a blank canvas, if you will, at a good starting point. So that's going to be one of our service projects that we have. It's going to be November 2nd from 8 to 12. All right? So I just wanted to give you a heads up. That is going to be renovated. And we're partnering with Mrs. Knight. Her husband is a professional landscaper who works for a local company. And they're going to come out. So we're just going to rehash that. It's going to be like fixer-upper outdoor style, So, all right. At this point, I just want to open it up to hearing from you. We have Mr. Miller's back there. Miss Akers over here. We have counseling. We have Miss Hawkins. Any questions or concerns that you have for us? It's just a great time to address it before we close out our morning. Yes, ma'am.
What can we do as parents to help you all volunteer, or how can we use our resources and our time to help what you have going here?
Thank you so much. The question is, what can you do as parents? How can we leverage resources from parents, volunteer hours from parents, just to help what we're doing here? And that is a wonderful question. One of the things that we started looking at that stemmed from last month's meeting is starting up a Watchdogs program here, where involving parents on just being an extra set of eyes and ears around here. So as a result of that, I went through nearly an hour-long training on what that program entails and the process to get one started at a school site and all of those things. After all of that, considering just the process and everything, I think what we're going to do is we're going to just try to create our own maybe and leveraging resources to be present. When we talk about things, just student behaviors and whatnot. So like the topic of discussion that I had earlier was cussing, right? Well, how do you solve that, right? It's really an internal motivator. Now, supervision can squelch that a little bit, right? Like consequences and, all of those things. But having more eyes and ears around, that's helpful, right? In the lunchroom, we have a lot of people in the lunchroom. we would love to have you guys hear more. So it's just a matter of now setting up a system to make it mechanical, to where it's just we have a thorough process and whatnot, and onboarding, making sure that all of our volunteers, one of the very important parts of that is really that they feel welcome, right? They know what to do, because no parent wants to show up and just be like, okay, I'm here, and not know what to do, right? It's just awkward for everybody, right? So we want to make sure that we develop that thoroughly. So that will be in the works in the future. So as far as volunteer hours, we have things like, our PTA service project, and we have things that will be starting, like our volunteer parents. We can even use those volunteer parents not only to be in the halls, but also greeting kids. We just started. Miss Meyer, what is that cadre called that are greeting kids in the morning? I'm drawing a blank. Okay, so currently it's Honor Guard, and the kids are going to develop their own kind of cool name or whatnot. But we actually have our own students currently at the doorways in the morning, welcoming kids, telling them good morning, which is a really cool way to start the day. We also have a staff member out there, but the more the merrier. So I'm thinking like leveraging parent volunteer hours, before and after school, even during lunchtime and transition and at recess. We were just having a discussion about. Yes, ma'am.
And I believe Miss Willis is here. She's the one who stepped up to help us get this honor guard thing started.
Miss Willis, you want to wave your hand, and thank you so much for doing that. So it's just so cool. It's literally my favorite part of the day, walking through the halls in the morning, seeing kids come in and just wishing them a happy, just good morning, have a wonderful day, you're going to knock it out of the park. Those things, just because it's just such a way to just kick it off. Even if they had a rough morning, even if they kind of got dropped off in a hurry or whatever they went through, you kind of have an opportunity to almost restart it here. So those sort of things, okay? So we want to really tap into that resource right there, because really, no matter how much money we have, it never substitutes the human aspect, right? So donations and stuff, those are helpful for field trips. We put in for a grant to go to Baylor, to take the whole school pretty much to Baylor, to go watch a game and just really create more of an ongoing college culture. So we have that coming up. So just volunteers and financial resources, those two things, we have some stuff in the works. So yeah, but get with me later if you want to talk details. All right. Any other questions before we close out? Hey, once again, I want to thank you guys for being here. Yes, sir. Yes.
Do you guys have anything that works for like mentoring program as far as for kids, sports, arts, drawing, acting, those type of things so they can get with?
Go ahead.
Yesterday I was meeting with we have an intern who's a master's in social work intern, and we were meeting with some area churches that are going to go through eventual training and that whole thing. Anyway, we're wanting to launch that in January so we can get a good number of folks to come help. And primarily, we're going to have them intern at lunch from 11 to 11:40 for a lot of our sixth graders. And if that doesn't work, I'm sure from 12 to 12:40, we could have some fifth graders have mentors. Of course, they have to have a background check, and it's just about eating lunch with kids, talking with them, having them have someone that they can talk one-on-one with. It's shocking how many of our kids go home and parents are working 2 or 3 jobs and they don't have a conversation with people, and that's where that whole social media and that's what they're doing instead. So just having this one-on-one mentorship is a great opportunity to be impactful for kids. So let us know if you're interested.
Yeah, for sure. I think we have our first volunteer right here. Also, I do want to remind you that we have our high school pals that come on a weekly basis. So that's just a cool thing. Like our high school kids, just upstanding kids, they come here and they just eat lunch with our kids, right? The ones that need a little extra support or attention or whatnot. So they're eating lunch with them. I had a kid come up to me the other day. How do I get one of those pals, And it's just a cool thing, right? So go track one down at recess. So that is an added layer of support. I've also been working with our district mentor, who really works with also also that at-risk population on like what do intensive services look like, ongoing intensive services, maybe even after school for some kids that really, really need some support. So I was just sitting down with him for the good part of an hour yesterday, just really kind of fleshing out what that would look like, right? How we meet the needs of those kids. But just know, I mean, here we are, and we're just trying to meet the needs of kids just systematically here. And it's a good time. It's a good time to be at Woodgate. I think our kids are flourishing, and we're working diligently to meet the needs of the ones that need that additional support as well. Yes, ma'am.
Well, within the mentoring, have we considered, and I know our teachers do a great job, but they're limited, parents that can come in and do help with tutoring for a child that might need it, cannot afford a tutor, obviously, or even just reading with some, because I know we have one that's way behind on reading, and we read constantly.
Yeah, so the question that then becomes, how do you also tap into the parent resource of just even reading with kids and helping them on homework and whatnot? And that too has been a discussion. In fact, I was visited by one of our local pastors from First Woodway, who offered full support, like, hey, we have volunteers just ready to come in and help kids, like with their homework or whatnot. So it is again, one of the things that we need to do at this point is really create the mechanism in which, whether it's a parent or a community member, they can come in and they have a process and they are placed appropriately to systematically meet the needs of those kids. So the great thing is we have that energy and that desire to meet with kids. Now, how do you make it effective, meaningful, and systematic? Okay, and that's kind of where we're at right now.
Well, I was just thinking that if the kids see the parents here supporting you,
it's powerful.
Need to know we work together.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
A lot of them have no clue.
It's powerful. Thank you.
So, and I just don't know, so there might already be some already, but do you guys offer any extracurricular activities? I know I'm just from a previous school that we went to, but it was just kind of like before school, like the kids had like a running club, or they had like, my kid's really interested in art type stuff, and so while it wasn't necessarily during like school hours, it was still something that the kids could really, this is their natural interests, and this is how we can help develop those things for them. And so I don't know if is there any extracurricular activities available, whether that be a sports thing or drama or whatever, anything.
Sure.
But I mean, because I feel like especially around 5th grade, 6th grade, they're kind of sort of like, I want to have more independence from my parents, but I also want to be around like-minded people. Kind of, they're sort of
the club.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, I kind of want to have a little bit of.
I think this is the right age. I also would agree. This is the right age. They're looking into developing their interests. They're trying to find new interests, or they are also figuring out. So if they can find clubs like that.
Sure. So the question becomes, the question that was posed is, do we offer clubs for extracurriculars? So the answer in short is we do not have like a cross-section of clubs that we offer after or before school at this point. We do offer enrichment opportunities through win time, which is at the end of the day, for those students not needing intensive intervention. I believe that Ms. Meyer or Ms. Hawkins could speak to more the history of clubs here. But currently we do not, but it's not something that would be necessarily off the table. Okay. To explore art, we also, through the PTA, have an art initiative right now that is going.
I was just going to say that, Miss Coach Rogers typically has a volleyball club. It may not have gotten kicked off yet, but a lot of the girls participate in volleyball club.
Volleyball club.
A couple years back, we had lots and lots of clubs. Some of the staff members that ran the clubs are no longer on campus, whatever. But I think that would be a great way for parents to participate. If you have an interest or a skill set, it's really share with their kids after school. I mean, it could be clubs in the past was like some were weekly after school, some were once a month, some were every other week. They were just totally random. But we used to have a chess club, we used to have a Rubik's Cube club, we used to have a board game club. So I think if we had parents who had time, that would be super helpful.
So just thinking this through, maybe we could put out the feelers for potential volunteers, and you look at their talents and their skills and their passions, and then pairing those up with student interest, maybe. Something along those lines, but it's definitely not something that we're closed off to, and there's some value in, students interacting with other students, like social time that is outside of the academic realm, right, and more interest-driven, and that builds community and whatnot. So there's value in that, and that's something that we are open to. So we have that. And would you mind? Miss Aker, she's already one step ahead. She's taking down notes for me and everything. Yes, ma'am.
Kids input on this, what kind of club they would want. And if you have a lot of interest in the same thing, you could send out emails to parents asking if they are interested in wanting about that kind of club, or if they know someone who is willing to.
Yes, and I'd see that systematically sent out probably through the Woodgate Weekly parent newsletter with probably a click button of just an interest survey of folks that would want to volunteer, and then taking an interest survey of kids or posting options for kids to sign up for. And, that's the way that would play out probably.
My daughter, she was in the volleyball club, so she was looking forward to that day all the time. And apart from that, there was UIL comes up, and if they are signing up, they are into that, getting excited. But other than that, if it could fit in more.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you brought up UIL, because that has been, I actually have a 5-minute video clip that we don't have time to show, but just an example of our morning announcements. And our morning announcement crew, they are filming videos and pushing out content to our kids all the time. One of the more recent was UIL, and just whether that is music related or academic, we have those things as well in addition to what we are talking about, like a volleyball club or something like that. But let us kind of flesh that out and then figure out how to best facilitate that. But I think that would bring significant value. Okay. All right. Yes, ma'am.
You did put out your student council. I don't know if you're on student council anymore, but I know that was real. It was a great part of my life growing up, and I think student council is something that each child that's interested in it, coming from 5th, 6th, and transitioning to middle school and high school, that's a great thing. I looked on your agenda and it said a visit to the White House. That's awesome. But however, if you're just visiting, but you don't have any experience to understand what's going on, student council is the best thing.
Yeah, I think student leadership, student council and whatnot, that brings so many skills, critical thinking, collaboration, soft skills, and just having discussions, with various folks, and then planning and executing. There's just so much value to that. Typically, we would start student council at the middle school level, carrying it on into high school. And there's a lot of, the detail behind the works, behind the scenes stuff that goes along with student council as far as bookkeeping and meeting laws and regulations and whatnot too. So typically they start that at middle school, but the function of it, you can almost replicate at the lower levels as well. So student leadership. So.
Mr. West, I just want to say that I like to appreciate you greeting the students every time they come in. Even the parents, you were the first one to greet me this morning. And it just prepares the children and the kids to, they're going to have a great day. Not to be afraid of the principal, or any of the staff here. So I want to commend you on that.
I appreciate that.
Question,
Thank you. Thank you.
Or anyone, with the discussion with Dr. Battle, I believe it was, his discussion, or is it her discussion with the kids, did the kids have any response other than the giggling or the...
It was very interesting. There were a number of boys who stayed after the presentation and had conversations with her individually. Just follow-up questions to some of the stuff she was talking about. The girls, there were some girls that had questions and comments. So I think, and then I know that we got lots of feedback from parents that when my kid got in the car today, this is what was talked about, and so.
No complaints. No complaints. Just feedback though.
Yeah.
That is, my wife and I were really, we're just shaken at the time of these conversations that after to err on the side of caution, I think we're not really erring we're actually, preparing them for something that may result in, in the future, which we don't, we pray to God that doesn't happen.
Sure.
But how do we, as parents, or I guess my final question would be, can we be, as parents, be included in that with the Dr. Battle, just to understand what my kid is actually doing or actually trying to ask, which they don't at home.
Great point. Midway has these things called VIP nights, the different parent nights, lots of information. Dr. Battle last year presented the gate for all of our parents. A lot of kids came. Great stuff. I don't know when she is scheduled for this year.
Well, so a couple things. Dr. Battle sent out a letter to me that I forwarded to you guys with her contact info. That would be a resource. In addition, this is just first semester. We really want to continue the conversation and equip our kids to be safe. So second semester, we're actually having a couple different organizations come in. For our sixth graders, we're having Unbound come in, is on the calendar. And they're really an anti-human trafficking, like letting the kids know what to look for as far as just keeping themselves safe and distanced from predators. And then for our fifth graders, just knowing that it is just a different age and dynamic, we're having Talk More, Text Less come in, again, reiterating safety. So one of the things, I was maybe a little bit surprised, but sending out the Dr. Battle stuff, didn't get a lot of correspondence back. And I anticipated that some parents were actually going to want to come and attend that presentation. And just know, if we have room for that, I am open to that. Because I think the more that we are having the same conversation, right? We're having the same conversation here, and we're following that up and reiterating it at home and clarifying and asking more questions and dialogue, I think the better. It just closes the gap there. So in the future, when we have these speakers, just know that we are open to hosting folks that sign in and, space permitting. This is Mary Lou Glazeman. She is our Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources. So
I was just going to tell you, Sue Battle does a district-wide community event where it's like Safe Kids, and it's where parents and kids are invited. It's this same type talk. Camp Careful is what it is. That's exactly right.
That's your
So I was thinking if you called that number, you could find that because she does an amazing job with the students in our communities. Is that just her? I'm not sure.
Camp.
She actually is a pediatrician.
You're next. You're next.
And so,
I don't know if this is collaboration, but
I knew that the Advocacy Center used to, I don't know if they still do or not, but have community events for parents.
When she puts on Camp Careful, she requires the parents to attend. Because everyone needs to have the same terminology and be on the same page. Right. So Camp Careful is, really two-pronged, if I'm not mistaken, student and parent. So there's some value to that. You had your hand up? Camp Careful. Camp Careful. Yes, ma'am.
I was going to ask, is there a way that maybe the bullet points of what's going to be discussed be sent prior to the kids attending? Is there a way that...
Yeah.
As a parent, I can be prepared, and two, I can know whether, it's something I'm comfortable with or uncomfortable with.
Yeah, I think, we partner with them, like, as a school district enough to where we know, like, the content that we can cover, so we can work on doing something like that.
So it's not, and maybe that will help with vocab and understanding what they're saying.
For sure.
We can say it correctly back.
Yeah.
Not confuse them more.
Yes, ma'am. Was there a hand up back there? Okay. Yes, ma'am.
The Beta Club would be a good thing for the kids to do, the Beta Club. Because my kids were members of the Beta Club in the other school that they attended.
What club was that?
Beta Club is a nationwide club
for
kids with good grades.
Okay. Okay. Great. So that would be one of the options that we can consider. All right, one more question, then we're going to close it out. Did we have a... Okay, she had her hand. Oh, you can ask me later.
Go ahead. Go ahead. This has been on my mind always. I don't know where it falls. Diversity. Kids learning, recognizing, and celebrating the differences, because there are a lot of kids from other countries, different background, different cultures, and I am actually wishing that school is a part of their learning process on this. It might be through community events or some projects or through clubs, because my daughter, younger daughter, she was in Midway all the way, and she felt it was needed, so she decided she will open up an international club when she was in high school. So I wish for this to happen in an earlier stage so that they will learn more.
Yeah. So diversity and just embracing diversity, making students aware of diversity. There's value to that, and it's an interesting topic, and it's a wonderful endeavor. Some schools will have like systematic ways of doing it to where they address it in assemblies.
It can be fun. It can be in a fun way.
Yes.
You can learn and also enjoy.
Clubs and multicultural nights and things like that. Student-driven, staff-driven, and let's chat some more about that.
Yes.
Okay. Hey guys, I know I've taken up more than an hour, so I lied. I apologize. But thank you so much for spending this Friday morning with us. Thank you for your ongoing support. We really, truly appreciate your support and participation. I hope that you guys have a wonderful 3-day weekend. Remember, 3-day weekend. There is no school Monday. And then next week's homecoming. So have a great day, guys.